Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio as I do a little last minute prep, setting up my various timers for the show. There are 4 segments in the show, in each hour of the show. A 12-minute, then we take a 4-minute break, a 13-minute, then we take a 4-minute commercial break, a 7-minute, and then a break, and then a 6:50, and then a break. And there are local segments at the beginning of that and the end of that as well. So, okay, yeah, Facebook likes my thumbs up. Always likes that, right? Tommy, good morning. How are you? Greg, nice to have you along with us, buddy. How you doing? How you doing? And how's the fishing, Craig? Is it slowing down? Have you slowed down? Are you going to continue to target the walleye there in the outer bay? Or will you give it a little bit of a break until the fall fishing when the water cools down? Dave, always a pleasure. Mad Jack, right back at you, buddy. Tim Binns, my second brain here on my live streams. Tommy, always a pleasure. Glad you're doing good, buddy. My name is Mike Avery. This is Behind the Mic. I'm actually behind 2 mics. This one, my social media mic, and this one, my broadcast microphone. Robert, how are things in... How are things... I got to turn that off. How are things in the Eastern UP? That was my Ring doorbell telling me somebody is at the house. I know who it is. It's Uncle Johnny and Aunt Debbie to pick up my wife, Denise. Danny, buddy, look at this. You know what I'm drinking from, right? Every week, my Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, very beat up, very well used Yeti mug. I wouldn't pay for it because it's too expensive, but it's a nice mug. I'll drink to that, and I appreciate everything you guys do at the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Gene, good morning. How are you? Craig, wishing he was fishing, been getting some fish in 11 to 15 feet of water. Well, that's almost unheard of for you, Craig. Some weeds, but still good fishing. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I just am not in a fishing mood right now or mode right now. In fact, I actually took the Angler Quest out of the water last Friday. I ran her over to Linwood Beach, where she's going to stay. I'm done. That boat will be in the Angler Quest dealers meeting next Thursday. But she is for sale. In fact, I think we've already got her sold, and I'm not surprised. It's a beautiful boat. Tim, I saw a shout video about Jay's Learning Center taxidermy exhibit. I need to go see it. Yeah, that is the Weber Outdoor Education Center. I actually have not been in there yet, Tim, but what I see and hear about that, it's a world-class taxidermy exhibit, unlike anything most people have ever seen, myself included. So, yes, you do need to get there. Bernie, good morning, buddy. Have a good day on the golf course. I will see you tonight. Gene, who works at Apex, the former parent company of Angler Quest, says they're getting ready for their dealer boat show as well, which is what the new Angler Quest QUEST is doing, and that's where my 8524 Pro Troll is right now, getting ready for that dealer meeting as I get ready to head to White River, Ontario, Canada. In fact, I'm heading there tomorrow morning. I'm heading there tomorrow morning to hunt. Wednesday night live at Jay's. I have the problem with doing a Wednesday night live at Jay's proper is the store is closed at 7 o'clock and there's nobody in there. I like the idea of doing a Wednesday night live at the Weber Outdoor Education Center. In fact, I have proposed that before, but there's been no action from Jay. So we'll wait. Maybe I'll throw that up again and see if it sticks. Throw it to the wall again and see if it sticks. There are actually a couple of Wednesday night lives of interest. Like tonight, Amy Trotter of MUCC is joining me on Wednesday Night Live. In a couple of weeks, I'll actually be doing a shortened version of Wednesday Night Live at the Midland Brewing Company as they get together there to celebrate the 75th anniversary of WSGW. So, good morning, Jerry. How are you? I will have a great bear hunt, Mad Jack. I really will. And it doesn't matter if I shoot a bear or not. I just want to see a bear. I go into this hunt not looking for a trophy animal, but looking for a respectable animal. I have no more room for mounts or shoulder mounts or full body mounts or even bear rugs. In fact, I will give the hide from this bear if I do shoot one. I'll give him to Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy for him to use to his mount. So this is a bear meat hunt. I'm looking for a meat bear. I'm looking for a meat bear. So again, anything over about 200 pounds, fair game, fair game. And then I will head back home. Tommy says he took his daughter and wife over to the Weber Center. Absolutely beautiful setup, a fantastic experience. That's what I've heard from everybody. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate that. Gene is telling me good luck hunting. I'm going north tomorrow to hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters in White River, Ontario, Canada. This is a place I've gone to hunt now for the last... There's always contractors that can build an addition. I'm done. At this point in my life, Mike, I'm done. I hear what you're saying, and I'm laughing with you, but I'm done. My basement is full. My office is full of African mounts, American mounts, Michigan mounts, Canada mounts. I went through that part of my life, and I have the memories and the mounts to relive it and show from it. But I'm not looking to get any more mounts. I don't honestly. Even if God smiled on me and a big 10-point walked in front of me this fall and I shot him, I would get a European mount. I'm just not looking for any more shoulder mounts or anything like that. No more room, and no desire to get any more. I guess that means I'm officially an old man. So I'm going up there to hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. The season starts Friday. I'm heading up tomorrow. I will hunt one bait. Ron gives every hunter 2 baits. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to set up one blind, a Wraith 270 see-through blind, on one bait, and I'm going to sit that bait until I come home. And we'll see what happens. You know, you get 2 baits and you go jumping back and forth, If you're going to be there for a week, maybe you can get away with it. I'm going to hunt for 2 or 3 days until a respectable bear walks in front of me, and then I'll shoot it. So I will sit on that one bait. But I'm looking forward to it. I haven't hunted up there now for a couple of years. Maybe it's even 3 years. I don't remember, but it'll be a lot of fun. David, good morning. How are you? Okay. How about that glorious rain yesterday? Wasn't that wonderful? At our place, we got about 1.9 inches of rain, almost 2 inches of rain. And that is, I'll do you one better, Mad Jack. Sometime I will do a Wednesday night live, and I will take the camera from my office and just jump over to the family room on the other side of the wall, and I'll walk you through those mounts, and I'll show you those mounts, and I'll tell the stories behind those mounts on a Wednesday night live. How does that sound? I will do that. I've done an abbreviated version of that. Good morning, Art. I will do a full-blown version of that. That was Art Lewis, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Art Lewis of WSGW, broadcasting icon, a legend, and a member of the Broadcast Hall of Fame. And he's going to come in here. Come on in. Come on. Let's do it. Art has his knife. I have mine. His looks very similar to mine, but his is green acrylic. Mine is red acrylic. Oops. You just cut my finger off, Art.
Well, these knives are sharp.
They are sharp. That, of course, another Rapid River knife. That one is a custom knife from Chris Durson of Rapid River Knives, rapidriverknifeworks.com. We had to change the promo code, Art.
Oh, really?
From Avery 15 to Mike Avery 15. Because they did something with the website that they had to change that. So I'm getting the word out. Mike Avery 15 gets you the same 15%.
Well, I can't use it on your knife, so...
You can't use it on this knife. You can't use it on this knife because we got to keep a profit margin on top so we can give that money to Outdoor Driven.
Excellent.
All righty. Good to see you, Art. Tim says they get about 2 inches there, 0.2 inches. Really? We got almost 2 inches at our place. It was a nice rain, and it's wonderful because our food plots are in the ground now, so the timing was absolutely perfect. Okay, Art brought this up. Well, we brought it up, right? And I got a different setup this morning, so I'll put this right in your face. This is a prototype version of the Mike Avery signature knife. The production version will look very similar to this with the blood red acrylic and the maple burl handle. Proceeds go to Outdoor Driven to get first responders and vets on outdoor adventures. The knives are selling pretty well. You can get one by going to rapidriverknifeworks.com, rapidriverknifeworks.com. My knife, the Mike Avery signature, is on the front page. Again, proceeds from the knife go to Outdoor Driven. You cannot use the promo code on my knife, but the promo code has been altered. It is now Mike Avery 15. Instead of just Avery 15, it is now Mike Avery 15, Mike Avery 15. Good morning, Jeff. Paul said he bought his yesterday. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. But Paul, given your background, I can see where you would have an interest in this knife because the proceeds go to first responders and vets, two groups that you have a very close relationship with. So thank you, Paul. By the way, Paul will be on the radio show not this weekend, but the following weekend. Good morning, Randy. How are you? Alaskan cruise, buddy. How was it? That to me sounds like a riot. I love cruises, and an Alaskan cruise would be breathtakingly beautiful. The most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life and in my travels was in Alaska on Kodiak Island. I mean, it was just breathtaking. So I bet that was wonderful. Hey, Jay, good morning. Jay Wadersky, Sturgeon for Tomorrow, Black Lake chapter. Good morning, Mike. My knife is ordered. Thank you for that, Jay. Appreciate that. Busy working on our 26th annual Sturgeon for Tomorrow banquet. When is that, Jay? Let's do a little promotion here. Thank you, Jay, for ordering your knife. Oh, Robert bought his knife Monday. Excited to get it. They're making them now. They are making the Avery signature knife right now. When it's going to ship, I think Chris Durson is going to ship them as soon as he gets them made. So maybe in a couple of weeks you'll get your knives. How about an Art Lewis the Legend knife? He has a huge following. Pick a charity of his choice. Scott, then we're getting into my territory here now, buddy. Okay, listen. This is my thing, okay? We're gonna keep it my thing. I hear what you're saying, but this is an idea I came up with, and I'm gonna ride this wave as far as I can. Uncle Johnny, good morning. How are you doing this and driving? I bet you're at my house and have not started that part of the trip yet, have you? Have fun today, Johnny. All right, Gene, have a good day. Paul says we need to have a knife party. We could have a knife party with our Rapid River knives because I think I've got like 6 of them now, including a couple of prototypes. Now, this prototype is the one I've been carrying, and I'm going to hang on to this one. When I see Chris, and I'm not going to trust the U.S. mail with these anymore. When I see Chris, I think I'm going to have him see if he can buff out this part of the bolster and put, he said he wants to put prototype on there. And I have one more knife that has nothing on the bolster at all. Chris is going to put prototype on there. And I'm going to do something with that knife. I don't know what it is. I'm going to put that to some kind of use to raise some money for a charity. Jay, Sturgeon for Tomorrow, September 20th, Sheboygan, KC Hall. Tickets will go on sale next week. Thank you, Jay, for that. Appreciate that, and keep up the good work. James, Jim, good morning. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. What else? Okay. Food plots are in. I'm leaving for my bear hunt tomorrow, going to White River with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. I'll be hunting out of a wraith blind from the ground. I will set up that blind tomorrow when I get into town. Bears are not extraordinarily blind shy. They're more curious than anything. I don't think a blind will keep a bear from coming into a bait, but the bear might come and check out your blind before he goes to the bait. They're not ignorant to blinds like turkeys are. Turkeys could care less. A big old white-tailed doe will turn herself inside out the first time she sees a blind. A bear is not like that. But I've had many situations where I have set up blinds the day before the hunt, and they go out there the day to hunt, and the blind is either, if I'm lucky, the bears will come up, they'll check it out, and they'll just push it in. If I'm unlucky, they'll rip it up and they'll chew it up. I've had that happen too. I'm only taking one blind with me, bears, Mr. Bears, so don't rip up my blind. Randy said it was awesome. Denali National Park, full of animals, saw 13 grizzlies, caribou, black bears, and elk. My wife and I are happy we did it. Oh, that sounds like a great trip, Randy. I'm glad you had a great trip, and I'm glad you're back home. Thank you, John. He said good luck on your bear hunt. I appreciate that. I am bow hunting. I'm using my crossbow. I will be using the Rec expandable heads. Those are pretty much all I use these days. I shot my doe last year with a Rec fixed blade, and I did not get the blood trail I was hoping for. I knew she was dead. I could just about see her drop, but I didn't have much of a blood trail. Bears are a tough animal to get a blood trail because their fur is so thick. The fur soaks up a lot of blood. On the other hand, bears are pretty easy to kill with a bow if you put a good shot on them. If you get a good shot on a bear, they're going to die within just a few yards. And if you're lucky, you'll get the death moan, so you know. That's part of the experience. On the other hand, and this is unfortunate, but every hunter has been through this if you spend enough time in the woods, I gut shot a bear up in White River several years ago, and it was a goat rodeo. We got him. We got him because I was crawling on my hands and knees in the bush following a blood trail with the guide's gun in my hand the next morning. And I was crawling along hands and knees, looking for blood, found beds where the animal had laid up, had bedded down, and the beds kept getting closer and closer. So I'm going through the stuff so thick you can't see 10 feet in front of you. On my hands and knees, I look up, and there's the bear in the bed looking at me. So that was fun. That was fun. The challenge with bear hunting is to judge the size of the animal. Because they're not like a whitetail, they don't walk in with a rack on their head that you judge. You're judging the size of the animal. And the first several bears most hunters see, thank you, John, look like monsters, but they're not. The first bear I ever shot, I thought, okay, there's a respectable adult bear, and he wasn't very big at all. Wasn't very big at all. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to this bear hunt. I want to get up there, get a nice meat bear, a nice respectable meat bear, and then I will come back home and do next week's show. I didn't even have to double up shows because the opener is on Friday this week. The timing is absolutely perfect. So I can get up there, get 2 or 3 good days of hunting in and turn around and get back and get right into the swing of producing what I do. Amy Trotter's on Wednesday Night Live tonight. I told you that. Thank you, Reginald. Kevin, how you doing, buddy? 3rd season, looking forward to bear camp. What area, Kevin? You got to be in the UP. Kevin Coyote killing King Rot. He got the 3rd season. I killed my first Michigan bear during the 3rd season last year with Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, in the Newberry District. And I will not hunt Canada next year. I will put in for a Newberry tag again next year. Good morning, Jerry. Paul, I don't hunt from a tree. I hunt from the ground. The first 2 years that I hunted, maybe 3, I bear hunted from a tree. And then as I got more comfortable bear hunting and wanted to make it a more intimate and exciting experience, I said, I'm going to hunt them from ground level. So I started putting a ground blind up on the baits. Now, this is interesting because I was one of the early guys at White River who did this. Most people did not. They hunted from trees. And once I started having some success hunting from the ground and talking about the experience and how exciting it is, a lot of the hunters, in fact, I would say most of them now, are hunting from the ground. So no, I hunt from the ground, and so to hear about like Nick Grillo here, the bears will come up and check you out. Last year, Nick was up at White River and he had a bear come up and look in the window. I think if I remember right, he stuck his paw in the window too. So, is it Amasa? Okay. Thank you, Michael. Favorite bear meat recipe: bear brats, or just put bear burger. We like bear brats and we like bear burger. I'm sorry to hear that, Paul. But when the wind blows, it blows. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, let me caffeine up here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
You can hear Jonathan Dent counting down.
3, 2, 1.
Blast off. Okay, I just started my timer, 12 minutes, because this is a 12-minute radio segment. Now, I'm going to record the first segment of this week's show. I'm going to talk about a lot of the same things that you and I have been talking about, but my focus will shift from this microphone to this microphone. So if you ask me a question, I will not be able to immediately respond because I'm recording the radio segment. You're more than welcome to stick around and watch if you want. But again, I cannot respond to your questions. I will be back here tonight, though, at 7 o'clock for another Wednesday Night Live, this time with one of your favorite guests, Amy Trotter of MUCC. She's joining me live tonight, and she's here to answer your questions. Okay? So have a good day, my friends. I got to go to work, and I'll talk to you tonight. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network on more than 30 radio stations across this great state of Michigan, and so glad to be here as I am every week for many, many years now. I haven't missed many weeks of doing this radio show. I think I missed a week. We had a death in the family, and then I think last fall when I had my stroke, I missed a week and had to repeat a show. Other than that, I can't think of any weeks that I've actually repeated a show. And you know why that is? Because I take this too seriously. I take your time too seriously. The fact that you are listening to my voice, and there are so many other things you could be doing right now, whether work-related or family-related or media-related or content-related, the fact that you're hearing my voice means that you have made a commitment to me, and I am making a commitment back to you, that each week my shows will be as good as I can possibly make them. My guests will be as interesting as I can. My questions to them will be as good as I can make them. And I will not repeat a show unless something happens beyond my control, because I appreciate your time and I take your time seriously, and I thank you so very, very much. You know what else I'm thankful for right now? The rain we got this past week. We got almost 2 inches of rain at my house. It was glorious. It was wonderful. Big old thunderstorm came through, and then it got sunshine again. Then another big old thunderstorm came through, and it rained most of the evening. And the timing was perfect because our food plots are in the ground now. So we could not have time. I can't take credit for it. My son James, he put our food plots in. But I was out there. I did go out there. A friend of ours, Brian, came out and brought his tractor and did some tilling for us. So I was out there, showing Brian where the food plots are. And then James came out the next day or the day after, got those seeds in the ground, and then it rained. Oh, beautiful, perfect. Thank you so very much, God, for that rain. As you are hearing this broadcast version of the radio show, I am probably in White River, Ontario, Canada, on a bear hunt. I'm hunting with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. I've known Ron for many, many years, a great guy, dedicated to his hunters, hardworking guy. I first met Ron when he was a guide for Pete Jones of Superior Bear Outfitters many years ago. The first time I went to White River was at the invitation of Pete Jones of then Superior Bear Outfitters. Ron eventually bought the operation from Pete, and he has grown it into one of the biggest Ontario bear hunting operations in existence. He does a great job. I haven't been up there, I think, for a couple of years now, and I'm looking forward to it. I go into this trip with no expectations. I'm not looking for a big bear. I'm not holding out for a big bear. I will not intentionally shoot a smaller bear. But at this point, I just have no more room for mounts or shoulder mounts or full body mounts or rugs. I mean, there's no room left. There's just no room left. And at this point, it's like, how many mounts do I need? I have been blessed when I had the TV show to travel a good part of the world and harvest some pretty cool animals and get them on tape, get them on video. And now I have the mounts to remember those experiences and to share those stories. But I don't need any more. So actually, I will give, if I'm fortunate enough to shoot an animal, and most hunters with Ron have the opportunity to do that, I'll actually give the hide to Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy and let him use that for one of his mounts. So I'm looking for a meat bear. We like bear meat. In fact, I think in some ways we like bear meat better than venison. No, I'm not talking about a bear roast. I'm not talking about bear steaks because I don't have much interest in those at all. What we do like is bear brats, Jonathan. Dent, who is in the studio with me right now, he just broke into a big smile. He loves bear brats too. And bear burger. Bear burger is so versatile. You can use it for everything. And you know, we eat almost a bear a year. With what we give away and what we eat, almost a bear a year. Because it takes a lot of bear meat to make, brats. And I'll take those to Michigan brand and have those brats made up. So I'm looking for a respectable bear. I will plan on only hunting one blind, one bait. Ron provides 2 baits to each hunter, and then you are able to jump back and forth on those as you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm probably going to hunt 2 or 3 days, and I'm going to stay on the one bait. You get yourself in trouble when you start doing the mental exercise of should I jump, should I jump, should I jump, should I move? Because the minute you move, a bear is going to come into the bait that you left. So I'm going to pick one bait, and I'm going to sit on that bait. I've got a Primal Wraith 270 see-through ground blind, my favorite ground blind to hunt out of. I will set that up. I will put a trail camera on that bait to kind of get an idea of what's coming in there. For example, if I saw that there was a cinnamon-colored or a blonde-colored bear coming into that bait, it might change my plans because I've never shot a color bear. And it's not a color phase. People talk about, I shot a color phase bear. Really? Well, a phase to me means that's a phase and he was a different color before. If you shot a cinnamon phase bear, what was he before? Was he blonde? Was he black? Did he have a blaze? No. It's not a phase. That animal is that color, and that's what he's going to be. So, I cringe a little bit when people say, I shot a color phase bear. No, you didn't. You shot a colored black bear. You shot a black bear of a different color. What color was it? Anyway, I'm using my crossbow. I have killed a bear up there with my recurve, which was one of the most rewarding hunts I've ever been on, but those days are gone. I don't shoot enough. I don't practice enough. I'm not dedicated enough to use a recurve anymore. So am I taking the lazy way out? Am I taking the easy way out? Well, if you want to describe it that way, that's up to you. What I'm doing is taking the most efficient, effective tool that I have confidence in, and that's what I will use. I'll be using Rec, Michigan-based, family-owned Rec broadheads. I'm going to use the expandables. I think on a bear, because the hide is so thick and it soaks up a lot of blood, you want a good blood trail. A bear is an easy animal to put down with an arrow. If you make a good shot, they'll go down in just a few yards. As I learned a few years ago, if you make a bad shot, then you've got your hands full. But that's not the goal, right? The goal of every hunter is to make a quick, clean, humane killing shot. So archery gear is perfect for hunting bears over bait. I will be doing that. Judging size, that's the real challenge on a bear hunt. It's not like a whitetail. When a whitetail walks in, you look at the body size, but then you also look at the rack. And that's what you judge the animal on. A bear doesn't have that. And they can be very, very hard to judge when you first start bear hunting. At this point, I think I have I think I have a pretty good feel for it, and I'm fairly confident I won't make a mistake and shoot a small bear by mistake. So, as you can tell, I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about the response to the Mike Avery Signature Rapid River Knife. Sales are pretty strong, and we're making money for the Outdoor Driven group. That's the group formed to get first responders and veterans on outdoor adventures to help them deal with the trauma and the stress that they've worked with in their careers over the years. There is a change at Rapid River. We've had to change the promo code. You can still get the same 15% off your order, but the promo code is no longer Avery 15. The promo code is now Mike Avery 15. So make a mental note when you go to the website and want to make an order there, and it won't take the Avery 15. Because of some technical web type stuff, we had to change it, and it is now Mike Avery 15 at rapidriverknives.com, or in person will get you 15% off. You cannot use that to get 15% off the Avery signature knife, because obviously if we start cutting into the profits on top of our knife, there'll be nothing to give to Outdoor Driven. I'm not making a dime on it. Chris Durson of Rapid River is not making a dime on it. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.com, RapidRiverKnifeWorks.com. Order the Avery signature knife. And if you want anything else, use the promo code MikeAvery15 to get 15% off. So, coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, after the break, Dr. Brent Rudolph, who is a wildlife biologist who was with the DNR for many years, he jumped out and went to some private organizations. He's back to the DNR. I want to talk to him about that process, about what's in store for Michigan deer hunting, and more. He's also in charge of elk and moose. Then John Dirtka, the Michigan spearfishing guy, talks about his efforts and some behind-the-scenes struggles he's had with the folks in Lansing regarding the promotion of spearfishing. In hour number 2, Tim Roller, the guy who, in my opinion, championed the use, the technique of casting crankbaits in West Michigan rivers for giant king salmon. Tom Weston from the DNR on their hunting and fishing app. And then in hour number 3, we're getting ready for the fall deer hunting season with the whitetail whisperer, John Eberhardt. And, of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. And I think he has a snapping turtle recipe this week. Now, we're not going to let him go into details on how to get the meat out of the shell, because that's gruesome. We're just going to talk about cooking up that meat. My name is Mike Avery. This is the Outdoor Magazine radio show. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and my email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Okay, to answer a couple of questions here. Judy, good morning. Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy? Brandon, good morning. Judy, good morning. Mark, good morning. Hello, Tim. Ken. It looks like your viewers great success. Thank you. Okay. I do have a question about this, Ken, and I'm going to get, okay. I find it very cumbersome to write checks these days. I wish, or you tell me, is there a Venmo account or a PayPal account that we can make contributions to that cause? Jerry ordered a Mike Avery signature knife. JT, good morning, buddy. How are you? What is the biggest bear that's still considered a small bear? That is an individual decision, John. A strictly and purely individual decision. For me, I would say anything under 200 pounds is a small bear. That's if I'm looking for a meat bear. If I'm looking for a trophy bear, if I'm looking for a true trophy for a mount, I would want it to be 300 pounds or bigger, but that is a purely individual decision. All right, my friends, I have to go. Have a great day. I will be back tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live with our good friend Amy Trotter of MUCC. I hope you can join me then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.